Picture yourself in a moment of choice. Three distinct vehicles rest before your eyes, each radiating its own unique essence and personality. The first vehicle captures attention with its vintage appeal, a timeless machine that whispers stories from bygone eras. The second commands the space with vibrant energy, a performance machine engineered for velocity and excitement. The third stands firm with undeniable presence, a utility vehicle designed for durability and function. As you observe these three options, you notice your consciousness gravitating naturally toward one particular choice. According to the psychological framework developed by Carl Jung, symbolic representations serve as windows into our hidden psychological landscapes, and our preferences unveil the concealed dimensions of who we truly are. The vehicle that captures your attention transcends mere transportation. It functions as a psychological portrait, revealing your life philosophy, your core priorities, and the trajectory your existence naturally follows. Through this psychological examination, you will discover profound insights that your selection brings to light. The vehicle that resonates with you contains revelations about your character that may surprise you. The vintage roadster, embodiment of sophistication, memory, and enduring principles. Your attention turns to the initial option, a vintage roadster finished in deep blue. Its metallic accents catch and reflect illumination, while its silhouette demonstrates both grace and authority. This machine recalls an epoch when transportation represented more than practical necessity. It symbolized experience itself. The sensation of air flowing freely, the acoustic texture of travel, and the liberation of boundless horizons. This vehicle rejects contemporary fashions, instead presenting itself as an embodiment of sophistication and lasting quality, evidence that certain elements maintain their worth across generations. Should this vintage roadster capture your interest, it illuminates significant aspects of your psychological landscape. Your foundational nature prioritizes genuine substance and lasting quality above temporary popularity. You represent someone who recognizes the narratives woven into objects, individuals, and customs. Your decisions reflect a search for meaning and profundity, valuing enduring quality and meaningful substance rather than superficial novelty. Your life perspective emphasizes savoring experiences and preserving what possesses genuine importance rather than racing frantically ahead. This vintage roadster embodies the psychological archetype of the visionary and tradition's guardian. You probably maintain deep respect for legacy, whether expressed through familial principles, cultural inheritance, or personal practices that provide stability. Something within your nature resists contemporary throwaway mentality. You comprehend that authentic value derives not from novelty or ostentation, but from capacity to withstand time's passage. Simultaneously, a powerful thread of reminiscence exists within your psyche. This selection indicates your contemplative disposition, frequently considering historical events and their teachings. You discover solace in recollections, vintage melodies, cinematic classics, or ancestral wisdom. This doesn't suggest you remain imprisoned by history, but rather that you acknowledge its capacity to illuminate the present and influence what lies ahead. You recognize that understanding your destination requires knowing your origins. Your personality also exhibits unmistakable sophistication. Just as this roadster communicates refined sensibility, your character demonstrates appreciation for aesthetic quality, nuance, and elegance. You might find pleasure in life's refined elements, not through shallow exhibition, but because they harmonize with your sense of balance. Others might characterize you as stylish, not through fashion chasing, but because your selections embody genuinity and self-assurance. However, this vintage roadster also mirrors a subtler challenge. While you discover strength through tradition and contemplation, you might occasionally resist transformation or feel uncertain about adapting to new situations. Moments may arise when releasing the familiar feels like losing your identity. This vehicle reminds you that embracing timeless principles doesn't require rejecting progress. Genuine sophistication emerges from weaving historical wisdom with future possibilities. Selecting this vehicle also unveils a desire for liberation. The open configuration symbolizes your aspiration to experience life's currents fully, to exist completely and transparently, unafraid of revealing your authentic self. You might long for experiences that generate vitality, exploration, artistic expression, conversations that reach the soul. You don't accept superficial interactions. You seek moments that enlarge your heart and create permanent impressions on your spirit. A romantic dimension also characterizes you. Just as this machine embodies open road romance, your soul seeks connection, closeness, and beautiful shared experiences. You possess capacity for profound affection and dedication, viewing relationships not as practical arrangements, but as meaningful journeys. Those in your inner circle feel valued because when you commit yourself, you commit completely. This vintage roadster symbolizes confidence that requires no announcement. You don't assert dominance through force or hostility. Instead, your presence operates subtly yet powerfully, resembling a melody that continues resonating long after silence returns. You guide not through demands, but through inspiration, by embodying principles others admire and respect. Yet this selection also carries instruction. Don't allow nostalgia or sophistication become obstacles. Existence continuously flows, and sometimes you must welcome the unfamiliar to develop. The roadster opens to the sky, a reminder that authentic beauty springs from receptivity, from willingness to accept change's winds while remaining rooted in your essence. Should this vehicle draw you, it reveals your soul's resonance with permanence, authenticity, and sophistication. You perceive existence not as competition, but as a journey deserving appreciation. You value the narratives, recollections, and customs that shape identity. While you might look backward with affection, you're also called to advance with bravery, bringing historical richness into tomorrow's possibilities. When observing this vintage roadster, you're not merely appreciating machinery, you're witnessing your own reflection, a soul that prioritizes depth over spectacle, significance over trends, and authenticity over pretense. Choosing this vehicle means you guard timeless principles, dream while finding beauty in traveled roads, and seek freedom while understanding that true destinations exist within journeys themselves. A vibrant performance machine, embodiment of intensity, vitality, and excellence pursuit. Your gaze shifts to the second option, a streamlined performance machine painted brilliant yellow, featuring aggressive contours, aerodynamic construction, and commanding presence. This isn't machinery designed for discretion. It's engineered to capture attention, deliver velocity, and generate excitement. Its powerful engine and assertive design capture the essence of capability, aspiration, and longing. Selecting this vehicle unveils an essential truth about your nature. You represent someone who craves intensity, stimulation, and existence lived at maximum capacity. Should this yellow performance machine attract you, it indicates your soul draws fuel from enthusiasm and motivation. You refuse to accept average performance. You desire achievement, experience, and excellence. You thrive when pursuing goals and confronting obstacles. Existence for you isn't something to tolerate passively. It's a competition to engage with, concentration, passion, and resolution. This selection reflects your competitive spirit and your impulse to transcend boundaries. The yellow performance machine represents the achiever archetype. You probably maintain elevated personal standards, continuously pursuing improvement, greater speed, increased strength. Success attracts you not merely for acknowledgement, but because it validates your internal requirement for development. Victory for you extends beyond awards or recognition. It involves demonstrating to yourself that you're capable of rising higher than yesterday's version. Your personality possesses magnetic quality. Just as this vehicle commands attention everywhere, you project presence that others perceive. You radiate vitality and confidence, and people frequently